Welcome to the Estate Professionals Mastermind Podcast, a podcast for estate professionals who earn more, work less, and make a huge difference in their communities. If you get value out of this free content, be sure to check out ProbateMastery.com, where you can get live classes, access to weekly coaching, and valuable courses. To learn more, visit ProbateMastery.com. Now let's jump into this week's content.
Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to our 11 a.m. Tuesday, 11 a.m. Pacific time, Probate Mastery coaching call. We get together every Tuesday. And this call primarily is coaching on how to represent families and get referrals from attorneys on representing the sale of probate real estate as an agent, though we do have investors and you're welcome to participate. The focus here is to coach and to talk about what are real problems and what are real solutions, what we're really going through. Hey, Terry Hunter, welcome to, good morning to you as well. What we're really going through. And so this is part of the Probate Mastery program, and just a real quick kind of overview of where we come from, what this is about. Probate Mastery, ProbateMastery.com is a program that was founded by Chad Corbett, formerly the coach at alltheleads.com, started his own, and then now he's turned this over to Bruce Hill, who also is still, in some ways, doing work with alltheleads.com, but he's now the new proprietor from Probate Mastery that was announced this week. And so here you have on the website kind of the beginning of approaches as far as what you're looking for and different business, different opportunities and classes and such. And so take a look at the new and approved website, and we'll be able to help you find the right offerings. I'm Bill Gross. I'm just a coach for this call. I've done some other content for them. I don't work for the company. I don't get paid by them really. I've done some affiliate stuff, but not really so much lately. Affiliated with this coaching is the Facebook group Estate Professionals Mastermind. We have 6,800 members. Feel free to post your content. Post your content, your probate-related content, your questions, and we see questions in here. Look for referrals, give referrals, questions about the program and such. And then here's Chad's announcement as far as his stepping aside and Bruce Hill taking over. Now, separately, I have my own program, Probate Weekly. I host every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific. Love to have you join us at probateweekly.com. And now I'm on social media at Bill Gross Probate. I also have a Facebook group, Probate Weekly. We have about just under 3,000 members. I'd love to get to 3,000. I tell agents you should post your probate-related content in both these groups so other agents can see it to help promote your numbers and your spread of your marketing and such. That's how I built my YouTube channel, was both in company channels I have uniquely at EXP, but also outside, and other agents would see it and help me grow the channel, especially when we started. So that's what we have going on here. This call is meant to be participative. You're going to get more out of it the more you participate. Hey, McKenna, how you doing? In real life?
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Or is an avatar chat box that's faking us out? I don't know.
No, I'm not AI.
Too good to be true. Well, but see, if you were AI, you would say you're not AI. So I don't know if we believe that or not. You're too good to be true. So anyhow, McKenna is, I'm not sure what her official position is, but she's the person who gets all the stuff done for the program. So if you have questions about the program offerings, when you put it in the Facebook group, she's often the person that answers and will give you directions. So it's great to see her here as well. And then anything that's wrong that I say is McKenna's fault. McKenna, did you want to give any updates on the program or product or offering? I know your email said it was the website wouldn't be updated, but it looks like it was. Is there anything you want to jump in and tell us about the program?
Yeah, I apologize. I hopped on here a few minutes after you had already started, so I don't know what you've already shared, but we are in big transition mode right now. Last week there were a couple days, and I apologize. We had sent emails and then the links all broke and it was just a total mess. But we got it all fixed. So if any of you are having troubles logging into anything, feel free to email support@probatemastery.com, and I'm happy to get back to you with correct links. But to answer the original question as far as what we are offering. So Bruce is offering a probate foundations course. It's a free live training. This upcoming one is on Wednesday, August 23rd, and it's from 2 to 4 p.m. You can find that on our website and go ahead and get scheduled there. We also have Bill's Probate Weekly call, which is free. It's live. It's an interview style call on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then we're keeping the lifestyle and career design as a free online course as well. We also have kind of this lower, more affordable, not lower, but just more affordable priced course called Probate Principles and Practices. That is for $299. It's a live training, and the upcoming call is going to be on Tuesday, August 29th from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern. We had a scheduling conflict, so unfortunately that is during the same time as this typical Tuesday coaching call. So we're going to go ahead and give Bill a week off for anyone who has purchased the Probate Principles and Practices to go ahead and join that call. Moving forward, it's going to be monthly, just before Bill's Tuesday call.
You know where I'm at?
Fantastic. Okay.
Sorry, I thought there was a question.
No.
One other thing for Probate Mastery. So we're keeping Probate Mastery and Earn, the digital courses, the same. You're welcome to purchase those individual courses. I know everybody on this call has already purchased Probate Mastery, but Bruce is including a few other things if you want to get the full Probate Mastery package. That includes the Probate Principles and Practices, which I already talked about. He's also creating a 12-week implementation group mastermind. So it takes the concepts of what you learned in Chad's Probate Mastery course and then gives you actionable step-by-step kind of hand-holding assistance on actually implementing these concepts into your business. So that's a 12-week mastermind. And then he's also incorporating monthly role play. And then the weekly group coaching is included in this package as well, which is this Tuesday call that you're all on. So there's a lot jam-packed into this Probate Mastery package. For now until August 15th, which is next week, you can get that entire package for just $99 as the upgrade. And then after that, we're going to the regular price, which will be double this. So, and double as in like 1,200 instead of just 600 for the individual course. A lot of information there. I'm going to do my best over this next week to spell it all out on our website. So that way it's not confusing for you. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them either in the chat or you can raise your hand here.
Cindy, I see your hand up. Is your question about the program or is it about
No, I was going to ask if you could put your Facebook links in the chat. That way we can just kind of link right to them to make it real simple to find the exact right ones.
Great, will do. That's good. Good suggestion. Thank you, Cindy. Any other questions regarding the program while we have McKenna here? No? And if it comes to later, put it in the chat box, she'll catch that. Or better go to the Facebook link, which with Cindy's suggestion is right there for the Probate Mastery. Feel free to jump in. And then McKenna will be able to help you with that. McKenna, thank you so much for jumping in today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I hate to take her off the spotlight because she's so much more appealing video-wise than I am. I have a great face for radio and for online blog posts, but McKenna really, I dragged her into this call, kicking and screaming a little bit. We're going to make her a video personality by the time we're done. Okay, and I put in the link for my Facebook group as well, Probate Weekly. Love to have you guys join there if you want to participate. And I put all my content there and classes and stuff that I do. So love to have you participate in that. Again, this is meant to be participative. The more you participate, the more money you make. You ask questions, you help other people who are going to watch this recording or are on the call and too shy to. And the more you talk about a subject, the smarter you get about it. So who's got a question I can help you guys with today regarding probate? You got a victory you want to share, or a loss you're struggling with, or a problem you're having that you need some help with. I'll just share with you guys, as I sit here today, I have 5 pending escrows. I went from 5 active listings, kind of 6 to one's a double property deal. They're all in escrow in the last 10 days or almost 2 weeks. And just amazing to be on the listing side and how probate has really created that opportunity for me, just really unique. And so I'm very appreciative of Chad, who was my first coach back when he was with all the leads in this program, and all of you who helped encourage me and push me and supported me along the way. So thanks to you guys. Let's see what else. Somebody asked about the login for Probate Mastery. We got that. Who's got Debbie? I see. Oh, Debbie's hand. Oh, she's clapping. Okay, she doesn't give me a call on her. But thank you, Debbie. That's very great. Thank you so much. I didn't say that to brag as much as to say what's possible. I think that I was having a conversation with one of my team members today. In addition to my book of business, I don't have any agents on my team. I have virtual assistants, and then I partner with agents on my listings to do the field work, the inspections and the lock boxes and showings and stuff. But separate, because I'm with the EXP, we have like a downline. I call my team. I have 43 agents on it across the country. And my goal is to build one nationally. That's kind of what I'm building. I was talking to one today, and she was talking about a coach that she was working with, who I think the coach has some good content. I've been to some of her classes and pick up some ideas. But the thing is, so many coaches in so many businesses are either sharing numbers that are unrealistic, and there's a reason why, and they don't tell you why, right? I had a huge REO account for 5 years, and I did 10 million listings, and you're never going to get that. But I'm going to teach you how to go on TikTok. That's not duplicatable or relatable. And then there's coaches who can't make it in this market and go into coaching as an alternate income stream, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I just wish they were more honest about it, right? I think that their agents haven't sold property in 20 years who are coaching, telling you what to do, but the market's different. I sell houses. I've sold 25 or so houses each of the last 4 years. I list property, I would say every day, but I don't have a listing today. But I look for listings every day, and that's how I make my income. And so when I tell you what I'm doing, I'm telling you what I'm doing. Now, I will say, I hope I'm modest enough to say, and this is what's working in my market. I'm in LA, California, the largest probate county in America. I think it's the poorest county in America now, as it turns out, by poverty and such. Unique probate court in that all of our county, I'd say 99% are in one building, which is unique. And so there's some differences in how I do business than you guys might in other markets. So sometimes people ask me questions, well, does this work? Does that work? It might in a smaller market. I can only tell you what works in my market from experience, but I do interview agents across the country. I have my own podcast. I've interviewed literally hundreds of agents. I talk to hundreds a week. So I'm glad to share you my experience that's real. I'm not selling anything. I don't get paid anything. I'm doing this because I need this to push me to be better at my game. I primarily build my business on attorney referrals at this point, and I solicit attorneys for interviews on my YouTube channel. I use that to market myself. So that's my primary business. But I do everything else that you guys do, or I've done what you guys have done. But at the end of the day, it's what works for you, not what worked for me in the past. So I'm here to help. Who has a success you want to share with us, or a problem or disaster you want to share, a story or question we can help with today? Anybody? Let's start with this little participation. If you wouldn't mind, in the chat box, put the state that you do business with. Debbie, I'll call you in just 1 second. Let me just make sure I get clear on where our audience is. Put in the chat box what state you're in. And then after you do that, put in whether you're a realtor or investor. Now, I would urge all of you guys to put all your contact information in, because why would you be on a Zoom call with 30 people and not tell everybody here for free who you are, where you do business, what you do business? Unless you're not looking for any more business or referrals, then by all means, don't put your information in the chat box. David Covert, you had something you wanted to add?
Oh, I just wanted to ask, what do? Just go to the county website to find out where the probate cases are and what time they are? Or you go down to find out where that court is and then go down to that court and there's a list of them somewhere?
Debbie, where do you sell real estate?
Maricopa County.
Okay, so that's in Arizona.
That's basically
Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, my best friends just moved to Chandler, Gilbert area.
Sun Lakes,
right
by
there.
chance?
I don't know.
Oh, that's right where I'm at.
Complex, I think. Yeah, kind of sad that he moved. I keep saying my best friend because my best friend keeps changing. It's the last guy that moved out to California. My best friend from like 15 years ago moved to Florida. Then my next best friend moved to Florida as well. And then this one moved to Arizona. It's been nonstop. So to answer your question, where do you get the data? So it varies by county. Every county is a little different. And if I would urge you to research the answer for your county. So there's a couple options. One, I recommend all agents to go to your county courthouse. When Chad did the probate mastery coaching, in that class, he challenges everybody to go to court and just check it out once. And I went there and I realized what a treasure trove of information and leads it was. And that's what really launched my probate business, was going there. So first thing I would say is go once and check out what Maricopa County offers you if you walk in the door. There might be some sheets you have to copy or take pictures of on your phone. There might be a computer you can log into. There might be courtroom calendars you can look at. Find out what's there, number one. Number two, I would research what's available online by your county. I'd research Maricopa County Probate Court and see what data they offer for free. Some counties offer everything because they're smaller. I know Maricopa is a big county. I doubt they do. But what do they offer? What information is available? I think you should try to find that out. And then I would say third option is you can buy data. And that's what I did. That's what I do. I actually buy data from 2 different data providers because some have some information, some have others. And I'm more interested in the data than I am the leads. So I don't cold call petitioners or mail to them, but I have a database of every case so I can research who the attorney is, or if somebody has a property, I can find out what the status is. So I actually pay through, and on my website, and I'll put a link here in just a second, I actually put a page together of all the data sources that I've found, and you might want to check them out and see if there's anyone that gives you a discount. I have one that gives Foreclosures Daily gives you like a 20% discount. In your county, I think Maricopa, almost all of them offer data. For people listening in smaller counties, some of these data sources don't service some other counties. So for example, I use a data source, Probate Money, which is only in California and only certain counties in California, but I like their program. But there's other ones that are national. All the leads is national, a little more expensive. So again, you might want to check a couple of these out, and some of them will give you samples and they'll give you their pricing in your county and you can find out. So once you have the data, then you can decide what you want to do.
More so than simply data. You said you actually attended some probate court sessions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, how do you find out where those sessions are held out for your county?
Well, initially, I just went on the county website, and I found where the building was. I found out, where the departments were, and I just walked in the door. Now, once I was there, I snooped around a little more and saw different postings, and I saw different calendars. And then I saw in LA County, across the street is the LA County Library, where they have free classes on how to learn more. And so I signed up for some classes. So again, just snooping around, I found out a little more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and figured out what worked for me. So I would just say, go on your own. And I think you'll find, here's my homework assignment, Debbie. If you were coaching me, if I charged you $1,000 a month to coach you, what I would say is your assignment is to go twice to the Maricopa County Probate Court, go for at least 1 hour, and your job is to reconnoiter, is to do the spy work and find out what is there. And the second, I would assign you to do an hour on the Maricopa County Probate Court website and see what's there. And what I challenge you to do, if you want to be a team player, is come back next week with what you find out and share it with us to help inspire other people to do the same thing.
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Debbie, thank you so much. Have we met before?
We have. I've sat on your Thursday calls for really since January, I think.
Nice.
So for quite a while. And then after that, I signed up for Chad's program.
Nice. Well, Debbie, great to have you on the call. Thank you so much for jumping in.
I think it would be helpful when Debbie does that, if she also posts it on the Facebook group so she can tell us the welcoming or the struggles or whatever, so that we know what hurdles we may come up against, so we can learn from her struggles to what perhaps expect if we go into our local places.
Absolutely.
I think it's great. I mean, I'd be happy if she just went to the courthouse, but she would post it. Yeah, that'd be great. Or come back here and we'll get the video, and we'll put the video online as well for people to watch. But 100%, thank you Who was that that chimed in? Yes, but thank you.
Cindy.
It's all about sharing. Sharing is caring, and like, because we're from all across the United States, there may be a tip in one state that we may look for in our state. I'm in Florida. Some counties are better than others in Florida, but I might learn something from her going in of a question to ask, because not all counties are fully open yet because COVID shut down a lot of staffing, so they're still stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. And thank you for sharing that. I think that's definitely right on, that if we all, people often ask me, why do I do this? I'm not getting paid for this directly. Full disclosure, I got a couple affiliate links. I posted them and I probably made about, I don't know, $1,000, $500 for the year for it. It's not why I do it. I kind of want to learn how the system works. And I know I don't want to do coaching. I did that before, and I also host my Probate Weekly, and I don't charge for that. I don't upsell the coaching for that. I make a lot of money when I sell a house. I get $10,000, $20,000 per commission. So if I get an idea on this call once a week that helps me sell a house, that's valuable time. That's why I do this call. So, and I'll also say, you might say, well, I'm scared to share that. There's only 35 people on this call. There might be another 50 who watch the video. There might be 200 on my call weekly. There's a couple 100,000 realtors in the United States. I think there's 1 million realtors in the United States total. If we all just did everything, we don't know the business. I'm okay with that. If every listing was one of you people on the phone, I would love to compete with you. We'd get along friendly. We'd support each other. We'd raise the standards of the business. We'd all make more money. So I'm okay with it, us dominating the market. All of those of you, if we could get every single probate listing in America by attendees in this phone call, who's okay with that besides me? Anybody else? I'm okay with that. So let's get into an idea of a spirit of sharing and learning that what you put into anything is we get out of it. Debbie, thanks so much. We'll look forward to you coming back with your homework, okay? Okay, next up we have, with his hand up, Peter Mark. Peter, what's up?
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
I'm doing
Long
great,
time haven't been on here, but just wanted to throw out a couple of successes.
Great.
I've been doing this for about 4 years now. And the same attorney gave me 2 referrals. Both of those referrals, we turned into 3 referrals, 3 deals. So I got the probate, then the son, and one of them, he needed a place to live, so we bought a condo. And then the father, because the son couldn't afford it by himself, the dad came in and helped with some of the financing. But the dad got me to sell his house.
Nice.
So I got the probate, the son, and the dad. And then the second one just got the attorney gave me a referral, and I found a property that we believed was owned by the decedent. However, we come to find out after I did some investigation, because she had the same first name, middle name, and last name, all spelled the same. The difference was one was born in 1949, the other one was born in 62. But finally, I got in touch with the person who we thought was living in the house that was owned by the decedent that we didn't know about with the same name. Turns out she asked me to sell her house and her neighbor's house because they've been trying to sell them together for a lot, for investment. So 1 attorney, 2 referrals, 6 deals.
And when people ask you, well, what percentage of your business is probate, do you count those deals as part of your probate business?
No.
See, it's interesting because I always have to say to people, well, on one hand, about half or 2/3 of the deals are, in the MLS probate forms required deals. But all the rest of my business is because of probate, because I have a happy customer refers me to somebody, and having happy customers is, what I do and strive to do. So it's interesting you say no, and I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying it's a tough question to answer because on one hand, it's because they're probate, you got them. On the other hand, they're not probate transactions. And so that's the beauty of this business is once you get the ball rolling. I got a listing where I just had I have not had a sign call listing in my career. I literally had a condo where I had a sign in front of it. And a guy drove by and said, hey, I live in the next block up, and would you list my property? And I said, yes. I listed it and sold it right away and got paid. Is that a probate deal? Well, not really, but it kind of is because I got it because the probate listing was on the market for like 9 months down the street. So that's the way it goes. Great, Peter. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. And that's what's possible with this business. That's what we want to get.
Sure.
And come back again, but don't wait so long. Okay, I saw on the chat, Atif said, I used to scrape the data. It's a scrap, should be scraped. The data at the courthouse myself, and then he bumped into gentlemen that did it. So you have to pay him weekly. He's working with the bigger companies, and now he pays him 50 cents a lead and gets all his data. Look, Atif, you're proving my point, which is good things happen when you do the work. And one place to do the work is at the courthouse. So good for you. Congratulations. I would suggest, I've done the same. I've been at the courthouse, and in LA County, there's a probate room. There's the courtrooms on the second floor, courtrooms on the, I think, fourth one, and then six, a few. And then the fourth is the probate room where they have the filings and the administrative people, and they have computers you can do your research. And I've sat there and seen the data inputters at that spot, scraping the data and typing it in. So yeah, it's good to meet them and ask them what they're doing, and feel free to ask them. Sherri Len says she's enjoys going to the courthouse, was the only person there most days, other than the judge and court staff. Typical probate cases are held over Zoom, but I could listen in. Contested cases were held in person. Each time the attorneys were mostly curious to find out why I was there. Yeah, and Sherri, I don't know if you're still on the call or you're open to answering, but when they asked you why you were there, what was your answer? If you want to mute yourself, or
There we go.
there you go.
Sometimes they were, one lady in particular, she was a very strong litigator, came in and acted like she owned the courthouse, walked around, went up to the, it was interesting to watch her. She was almost like a lioness in there. And so she was pretty condescending. She said, "What are you doing here?" And kind of put me on the spot. But I said, "I'm here to learn. I am interested in probate. I help families going through probate." She didn't believe a word that I was saying, but it was interesting to come across someone like that.
Yeah, one of the first referrals I went for, one of my close friends who's an attorney, doesn't do probate. So I like to refer you to my good friend, so-and-so probate attorney. So he sends a nice email, introduces me, and I call her, and she says, "Well, how many probate listings have you sold?" And I said, "Well, to be honest, I've only sold one probate listing. I've sold on the buyer side. I see the process. It's not that different." And she emailed back, "Well, until you're experienced, I'm not going to work with you." So that kind of upset me, but whatever. In the next 2 years, I probably sold another 40 probate listings. So I reached back out to her one day and said, "Hey, you said I was experienced. Now I've done more than anybody but a few people. I do a better job than they do. I'm glad to show you the statistics to prove it. I'd love to meet with you, see how I can help you and your clients." Nothing, no response. So sometimes it's just their personality that they're going to say no matter what, and they're going to give you an objection, and you just have to understand that's who they are as people. But what did you learn besides seeing the lioness in action, which is interesting? And you may have to work with her if you ever represent a buyer or some other way, contested probate. What else did you learn while you're there?
Well, it's in our county, it's mostly by Zoom, although they do have some in-person cases. The ones that are in person are contested. And so those are really interesting to go to. And it's just amazing what families do and don't do. And kind of shocking to hear some of the things that are talked about in the courtroom. It was also interesting to see the judge was very compassionate, and her tone was just very warm, and maybe that's just the probate field, and I was surprised by that. She was super sweet. She noticed that I was sitting on the hard bench, and I went back several days in a row. So she said, "You know what? I think we've got some cushions back here in the back," and brought me out a cushion that I could sit on. And the guys down in the security, they started to chat with me, and so it was really fun to keep going back, and I look forward to doing that again. Was interrupted there for a while, but we meet on certain days for just the standard dockets, and those are, like I said, mostly on Zoom, but there's monitors all around the courtroom so that wherever I was, I could see them. And then there were some cases that were live, held on different days.
If you ever
But we covered everything.
if you ever had to go back before that judge for a matter, and the judge asked you a question, do you think you have an advantage now that you've been there and she offered you some cushions?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
important that I think they really respect when you show an interest in improving yourself and in education. The nature of attorneys and the nature of judges is they are very much about education. That's how they got the positions they have. And so when you're saying, I'm here to learn, and you're saying, underneath that, the path to success is being better by learning more, not just telling everybody how good I am. That's what they hate. They hate realtors who market, I'm a probate expert, and they know nothing. And I'll tell you, for those of you who don't know, and some of you are saying, well, I'm kind of insecure, I took the class, but how much do I really know? I get phone calls from agents, a couple every day. I mean, literally every day, a couple agents between this group and my probate weekly group, and I'm within EXP, I run a probate group there as well, about 3,000 agents. And people call me with questions. I encourage you, if you have questions on your case or your lead, call me. I have nothing better to do than talk to real estate agents and help them do business. But I can tell you that 90% of the agents I talk to in California, for example, haven't read the form. So we have 2 forms to spell out the whole process. If you just read it, you would know more than almost any attorney, but the top 5%, you would know it if you actually just read the form, and most haven't done that. And I'll say to them, if you read the form, and they'll always answer yes right away, I can tell in their tone they haven't. So, Sherri, congratulations for being humble enough to go learn and continue that process, whether it be in court or outside. I believe that's going to drive your success in the long run. And I think that's, and I'm saying this myself too. That's why I do the classes. Whenever I see attorneys classes or judges speaking online, I try to learn how to be better at my craft. I think that's the defining difference between me and my competition. So congratulations.
thanks.
And thanks for sharing. Okay, we're going to kick her out because she's so good looking. Nobody will look at me if I don't get rid of her. Who else has a question, comment, victory, loss? We got a bunch of people in the chat box. Good job there, looking for referrals. And also I see in Probate Mastery and in my group regularly people looking for attorneys and or realtors in different market areas. But anybody else have a question or a problem?
Has anybody worked the pre-probate market? So where they see one person may have passed or something like that. Has anybody had any success, and what do they do in the pre-probate arena?
Great question. Has anybody, I don't think Larry's answering the question. I think he has another question. Anybody have a experience marketing to pre-probates? I think another way of looking at those they're also labeled as affidavit of deaths. And so if you take a service like PropStream and you can cross-reference properties with affidavits of death, it's one of the things investors do to see different triggers, divorces and credit issues and so on. And who asked that question?
That was me, Cindy, in Florida. I used to work for a probate attorney, so that part of it is not foreign to me. I was just trying to figure out what's working, because that was back in, believe it or not, 2007, which is a long time ago by today's standards. So things are obviously different, but I'm just curious as to what they're finding with the pre-probate. If you're mailing probate and pre-probate, which you're getting more success out of, and what kind of letters kind of thing, maybe. I know that's all available in the all the leads component, but I was just wondering if anybody's actually doing the pre-probate.
So before I answer, I want to see anybody who has a personal experience doing that besides me at all. I don't think so. I don't see anybody answering. Usually when people do it and they're doing well with it, they'll jump in. And if they do it and don't, they're usually out of business because it's expensive and time consuming. And so I'll say to you, Cindy, I've had that question asked, I'm sure 30 or 50 times. And I got the data and I tried it. I think it's great for the data seller. I do know that attorneys use it to market for probate filing business. But typically they use it for Facebook ads. So that's kind of like a large net in the pond. And that the ones I know who do are Google ads. They have a database of people that they're targeting to or lookalike to that list that they're targeting to. But I have not met, and I've interviewed a lot of real estate agents. I have not met one realtor in America that used that data profitably. I get a lot who try it and they're excited about the initial phone calls or leads they get off of it. But just for what it's, and if you're in this call and you're an exception, reach out to me and let me know. I'd be glad to interview you about it. If you know me, I'll share your success with everybody I can. I'm not here to sell one right way to do it, and every market's different. But Cindy, I don't know of any agent in the country who's doing it successfully. What that's worth. Okay, looks like maybe we lost her. Okay, I see a hand up from, I don't know what this guy's name is because it's kind of odd. It looks like his name is the Larry Smith Group. I don't know, is that your first name or is that your last name?
Actually, it's my first name, the entire thing.
And what's your last name?
Smith.
Okay, so the Larry Smith Group, Smith is in the call today, joining us from DFW.
Yes.
What's going on, Larry Smith Group?
Hey, bud, how are you?
Fantastic.
Hey, I can, the answer that the great Chad Corbett answering the pre-probate leads, his answer to that question was he absolutely discouraged marketing directly to a pre-probate lead because of the risk of your own reputation of ending up being too soon to the party rather than too late. And his thought was find another way to get in front of them. And I think the way in which Chad says, become so much value to them that they seek you out. So maybe the list is valuable if you can put your information out in front of them to the point they see value in it, and then they reach out to you as a resource. But I wholeheartedly think that's the right way to go with it.
You know, I personally, I've interviewed Full Circle Aftercare, which is a service that they package to end-of-life providers like funeral homes and facilities that can give families kind of a start on what they need to do from a security point of view, and just to kind of give them some thoughts as to where they need to go. I think that's great. I think that if you're going to offer that, partner up with somebody who offers those services or grief counseling services or something like that would be great. But in my, I think that the question always comes from a real estate agent asking, what's the easier way to get business? I'm not successful doing this. Is this easier? Like one I got today on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook group was, maybe it's Chad's, when I think about it. Referral fees from attorneys. Can I pay a referral fee to an attorney? And then it turned into, well, I'm going to solicit and send out letters offering attorneys referral fees. Now, every state has their own rules and laws, and then there's different attorneys' ethics as well. So I believe in California, the attorney would have to be a realtor, and then we could pay a referral fee like any other realtor, as long as they're with a broker, and the attorney is kind of the equivalent of a broker in California. But do you want to send out cold letters to attorneys saying, hi, do business with me because I'll pay a referral fee? Because if that worked, then you would just copy that letter and raise the referral fee percentage by 1 point, or mail out more letters. And at some point, and it doesn't work, because at the end of the day, it does work for some. I mean, everything works for somebody. A blind squirrel finds an acorn once in a while, but I don't believe it's the basis of a business, because I think you want the basis of your marketing to be both you creating value for a customer and you getting better at creating value for a customer. So I think that's the challenge with those kinds of, pre-probate. Again, just because you have the data, I don't believe gives you an advantage. How are you going to uniquely help those people? I think that's the process. Cindy, I see your hands back up. Are you still on this topic, or?
Yep.
Go ahead, jump in.
In Florida, if a spouse is left behind, then the widower can apply for an extra homestead exemption scenario. So in one of the counties I'm in, they have a nice trifold brochure. And I thought about mailing that trifold brochure and highlighting that widower exemption thing, but not coming across as an ambulance chaser, just kind of providing service that they can do the deduction in there, because not everybody knows that or asks that, because not all attorneys know all of it. So that would be kind of a value add. But what would be my next thing? I'm thinking like a month out, and then what would be a next thought process after that, just to kind of ask for house value in a couple of months, that kind of thing, for follow-up on the pre-probate side.
Well, I think the way I would approach that is, if you're going to create that value, which I think sounds great, then now you have a relationship with this person. What marketing do you do to everybody in your database? Home value is part of it. Estate planning to avoid probate might be part of it. Certainly sharing that you do business in probate and how you help families who are in that to solicit referrals is important. So I think, personally, and I'm not saying I'm all that, but I don't like the sequenced kind of marketing. I just every week send out something on real estate, and I send something out to different targeted groups every other week, once a month, depending on what value I can create for that person. So I think, I don't know the answer, but I think the question is, what value can you create for that list once they've opted into getting that information? And whatever that means, I think it looks like the same things you send to all your other clients. If that makes sense.
I'm new in the market where I'm at. I'm not new to real estate, but I'm new to the market where I'm at. So I'm having to start over, if you will.
Well, where'd you move? We spoke before, I think. You moved from the Midwest somewhere?
Nope, I moved from South Florida to North Florida. I was taking care of my mom. So the experience of the elder care chapter and all that is really fresh in my head. So that's
still market everybody I've ever met in my life, even if they're all in South Florida. Number one, there's referrals. There's people on this call that could help you with that business. If somebody has more questions on how to sell their home or in probate, I'm sure that they'd rather you find a colleague and trust your judgment than to on their own try to find that out. I think that's the value you're missing. So I would still market to everybody I know about real estate every week, and then add specific topics that you think are valuable to your database, whatever that is.
okay. Cool. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so Bill, I was going to tell you some of victory. I had 3 probate deals go down, closed on this past Friday. I had my first conversation with this gentleman 9 months ago. So they can take a while.
I think that's why I don't like the idea of a sequence marketing. I rather just market to everybody something all the time. Because I've talked about this before, the average lead, when they start to look to buy or sell a house, based on the only data I've ever seen, the scientific, the average lead takes 2 years average. That means half or less than 2 years. And we all know people who start looking and buy in 90 days. That means half of them are more than 2 years. And so if you don't have a marketing plan that keeps those people engaged to 2 years, you're missing out on at least half of the business. Right. And so I think it's important to stay in touch with people forever. You're a resource. The other thing I'll say this, if somebody else has a different opinion, I'd love to hear it on this topic. Every single person I've ever seen who's achieved massive success has done about the same thing for a long period of time. Meaning every mortgage lender I've ever met who does a ton of business has been doing it for like 10 years or more and just stayed at that market and built and built and built and built and built. And whatever the growth is over 20 years, it becomes massive. Same with the realtors. There are plenty of flash in the pans that flash up and flash down. But the ones who have sustained success over a period of 5 years, they built it over a long period of time. And so I think it's worthwhile to plan to be successful 2 years from now and 5 years from now, and not to assume you need some fancy marketing plan to convert every lead you can in 90 days.
I also had one, I had a real estate agent. She's married to a developer that ended up buying these properties. And I was explaining to her that I specialize in work in probate and kind of the challenges that go with it. And we had a very long conversation. It was really good. And at the end of it, she looked at me and she said, "Do I understand this? You actually voluntarily go out and work on these kind of issues, these kinds of challenges and problems?" I go, "Absolutely." And the developer stood up because that's what I'm trying to tell you. The opportunity is in the difficulty. And it goes to your point, Bill, you talk about it often, is that don't pray for it to be easier, pray that you're better.
Yeah.
Pray that you're stronger. And it was like, I go, the tougher they are, the more opportunity there is for me. So it's a completely different mindset.
Real quick, we have a hand up there, a couple hands up. I got a question in the chat box from Elvis. His specific question was, talk to me. Yeah, reach out to me. I'm at Bill Gross Probate all over social media. I put in the chat to him a link for an appointment, but I'll put in the chat box my link tree. You can see all the different things I have working, and on there as well as you want to schedule time with me, just click in there. Anybody in this call, feel free. If you have a probate case question or business question regarding your probate business, I'm glad to talk to you. I don't charge for that. And obviously, I'd like to build a relationship with you. Obviously, I'd like to earn some referrals down the road, but the way you do that is by giving before getting. So I'm glad to do that. Brandon, I'd love to get you. Let's get Terry first because his camera's on. Brandon, if you put your camera on, I'll bring you in. Terry, let's get you unmuted, and you have your hand up. How can we help you?
Yeah, just I guess kind of feeding off of the pre-probate to some degree. You know, I don't use all the leads, but I'm in St. Louis, and we have an internet-based posting service where we pull all the probates, and then with that list of probates is the personal representative, the decedent, the attorney, as well as all the heirs. And one of the things that I've been doing is pulling not just the PR, but also the heirs. And the reason I did that is I've met with several attorneys, and this kind of leads into the pre-probate piece. Is I asked them, when they're, from after handling a probate case, what was their turn time to get the survivors in for estate planning. And he said generally they're about 6 months. So what I've tried to do and working on doing is building a brand here in St. Louis that is YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram to market, not just that I'm a probate expert or whatever, but also to provide a forum for business partners, that being attorneys, estate planning attorneys, elder care attorneys, CPAs, financial planners, to be able to, as you've done, Bill, successfully, is to interview them and then take those interviews, break them down into reels, put them out on Facebook and Instagram, drive them to YouTube, and help generate business for those people that I would like to say are partners, which in general I think would explode. Hopefully the benefit will be exploding not just my probate business, but more importantly, referrals from all of those partners for just general retail business, people buying, selling, moving up, moving down, those sorts of things. So it's trying to create a community within the market here to provide information and exposure then for the partners that I'm beginning to work with. So from a pre-probate standpoint, the survivor of a probate, the decedent survivor, as well as their heirs, are all opportunities for marketing for us to create a lead for someone else, which in turn would hopefully be develop referrals back.
Yeah, and we're going to talk the people business, right? I mean, our business is selling houses for people. So the more people you talk to, more houses you get a chance to sell. Kind of that's how it works, right? I mean, I'm not saying to put you down. Sometimes it takes a while and I have to remind myself too, that he was, well, I have to talk to a lot of people. Well, yeah, but the more you talk to, the more people whose houses you have a chance to sell. And so the heirs in many cases are coming into money. Why do people sell houses? They lost money, or they get money, or they change in family. So to me, that makes a lot of sense. And I love the idea of supporting the business of your business community in your business. I try to do the same thing in my own, and I'd love to hear you share, as that grows, what you're doing with that, because I think that's the right track. You help other people, the business works out for you. Any particular challenges on the way of this process so far, Terry?
The biggest challenge is the discipline to actually produce the evergreen media, the videos to get out into the marketplace. Because as you know, I mean, once it's produced, it's out there forever. So, but the discipline to do that on a regular basis is the biggest challenge.
Yeah. Put your calendar. That's why I do regular weekly programs, because it forces me to show up regularly and most of the time and do the content. So good. Well, good luck with that. And please come back and give us our update on how you're doing on that. Okay. Thanks, Terry. Okay. Hand up, Brandon Rincon. No voice, but let's get you unmuted. How can we help you?
Hey, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah. Hey, Bill. I'm new to probate, not as an agent. I'm an agent. I'm not new to real estate, but new to probate. I want to focus mainly on attorneys, partnering with them, earning their referrals. I guess I know it's in the training, but what is, I guess, the most effective way of going about that?
And Brandon, where do you sell real estate?
Oh, I'm in Orlando, Florida.
Got it. So I think that's a whole class. And so I obviously can't answer that as simply as to say this is the most effective. The question is always really, what's the most effective for you? So on my YouTube channel, I have a couple different videos on that topic. You might find them helpful for free. You might find on the Probate Mastery course as an earn program that's just about how to earn attorney referrals. But I'll say by far the best thing to do, especially if you're already an agent, which you said you are, and you're already in business, you're selling some houses, you already have a database of prospects, clients, people you met, whatever. Some of them are attorneys in probate and estate planning. Others have spouses who work in offices like that. And so the first place to always start is the people who you already know, like, and trust, and already know, like, and trust you. You've got to start with that.
Okay.
And I would just say, once you start creating some content about either probate or how to avoid probate through estate planning, and you have that content, share it with your database. Some people will raise their hand and say, I'm interested, and others will raise their hand and say, wow, that's my business. The best attorney I've had year to date was a guy I did a deal with 25 years ago who we kind of lost contact with, but I kept in my email database. And I saw him as an attorney on a probate case about 2 years ago, and we reacquainted, and I wouldn't have otherwise reached out to him, but I saw his name and I called and said, hey, how you doing? I see you do this probate case. How can I help? Next thing you know, I already have this year, I think 3 or 4 closings from him alone. So always start with who you have. And then past that, it's a little more that I can handle here. We have a few minutes left. I would say either go to my YouTube channel or go to check out the Earn program if that's an option for you as well. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure. I'm sorry. It's just, the nature of this. We could talk about it, get a call earlier. I'd be glad to talk a little bit more about it, but we have some other people with hands up. I want to make sure we get to everybody. Speaking of hands up, Denise has been waiting patiently with her hand up. What's up, Denise?
Hi, I wanted to ask a question.
Uh-huh.
So I had a gentleman to reach out to me, and he said that his mom died in November. He has been living in the house. She had left the will, leaving him the executor, but he never filed probate. Also, he said that he tried to make the mortgage payments, but the mortgage company wouldn't accept it from him.
Mhm.
So no payment has been made since November. So now he has received a foreclosure letter in the mail. And I wasn't sure if I could help him or like how it should be handled.
What state is this in?
North Carolina.
So I've not heard of a lender not willing to take payments. I've had people say that to me, but in reality, they didn't really want to make the payment. And we're too embarrassed to admit that they got too far behind. And the payment wasn't enough to stop the foreclosure at that point. So that doesn't sound right to me. Now, the exception to that might be a reverse mortgage where there are no payments. Reverse mortgages, by their nature, don't service payments. They advance you money and then they collect when they sell the property at the end. So if it's a reverse mortgage, that might explain it, or it might be, I don't know if this is news to you, but sometimes customers don't tell us all the truth.
Yeah.
So I probably don't know. And this is kind of the nature of the probate business, is you have to you're helping people who, if they were fully productive, efficient people, they wouldn't need you. But they kind of need you because they don't really know what to do. They're not good at working with other people. Literally, I have a guy who I was chasing for weeks, and I was facing foreclosure tomorrow, and I put together with somebody to help him get another 3 days. And he's texting me during this call, I have to call him right now. I'm not going to call him right now because my schedule doesn't work that way. But that's the nature of these people, is when they're available, they'll call you, and then they don't call you for 3 days, and then they'll call you, it's an emergency. That's the nature of working with probate. So I don't know the answer in your state. So if you had to boil down the question, what's your question?
Well, my question was like, how can I help him? Or also, I didn't know if an investor could help him.
Sure. But
Even if he
he
hasn't filed probate, if he's not the executor, could they still do something with him?
Well, again, that's a North Carolina question. So I would talk to somebody who really knows the state law. In California, I have investors who I help them file the probate, but get it done properly and quickly, because left to his own device, and this is the problem with some petitioners, they'll on their own call around for attorneys for weeks, and they'll talk to one, engage one. That one doesn't know what they're doing. They'll call the next one, down the road, doing, and months go by. Meanwhile, the property's foreclosed on. And the value I create is saying, listen, I know you've talked to 5 attorneys so far. You will get this done. Let me give you a roadmap. Here's what it looks like. We're going to do A, then B, then C, then D, and you're going to get it done for them. And if they follow your instructions, they can work with you. At least if they follow my instructions, I'll work with them. If they don't, I let them go. And I regularly say to customers, listen, I'm not going to argue with you. I told you how it is. If you don't agree, you're free to work with somebody else, but you're not going to work with me and disagree with me. Like, either you accept me as the expert and take my advice, or you don't, which is, either one's fine. But there's not a third option, which is I'm going to sit here and spend my time helping you and then argue with you over things. That's just not, if I want to argue with somebody, I'd go talk to my wife some more. I don't. Did I say that out loud? The door's closed. Thank God I got away with that one. So anyhow, that's the key thing, is that somebody has to be in control. Somebody has to be the quarterback on the field. And that's you, then take the ball and diagram the play and run it. If it's not you, then find somebody who can help you.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Denise. Okay, last question. Michael, got your hand up. Let's get you here into the call from where? Vista Beach in Florida. It looks like Florida to me. Siesta Beach in Florida. Let's get you unmuted.
Yes, the Key Beach here in Florida. Can you
Michael,
hear me?
what's up? How can we help you? Yeah.
Okay. So I've got a pending probate deal. I'm going to need to talk to basically 3 family members that aren't getting along. And I've done this once before with about a family of about 10. And I don't know how contentious this whole conversation is going to be. It doesn't sound very good. It sounds like one person they're not talking to. So just curious if you had some insight with that and ways to maybe go about handling that to hash out without getting too far into the trouble land with them, but to smooth it out where things can be worked out and they can move forward.
So I've been in this situation before, and I think that I am a businessman. I'm glad to help people, but I have limited amount of time to help people. So I need to help people who want me to help them. So I'm not in the business of arguing. Like I said, I'm married, so I get plenty of that outside of my work life. I don't need more arguing. I also have a pregnant daughter, so I have enough arguments in my life. And so, I'm fine negotiating between two people. If there's one person and another person, and that's a regular thing, the other one hates you, and I'll deal with that. Once you get to 3, it's triangle, it gets to be difficult. And so my criteria is somebody's got to be in charge, and I'll help them. But somebody's going to file a petition, be the executor, and then once they're in charge, the rest are just heirs, which I have an obligation to be a service to them. I want to be a nice, kind person, but I don't have to, there's nothing to argue about. Decisions are made, and they're just have to go along with it. So the key I find is, a lot might be different in Florida, but I think it's similar enough. You got to find somebody who's willing to take the lead and file and be the executor, and then run with that person. And then your job is to communicate with the rest. It's not to negotiate with the rest. Did that help a little bit?
Yes. That helps a lot. Would you recommend, just so there's, I guess if we're with the executor, would there be a need to get everyone on the one phone call, or just talk with the executor and run with that?
Yeah, if the executor asked me to be on a conference call with everybody, I'm glad to do it. But what I don't want to do is first off, I'm not going to do that until I'm the listing agent. Because I don't go to beauty pageants to get listings. There are agents who do. And I'm not saying don't do that. If you want to compete, there's nothing wrong with being in a beauty pageant. If you want to compete at that level, I'm not going to compete at that. I don't need to. So I made the mistake once of going to one of those, and there's like 6 people, and you give your presentation, and the one who sets the appointment asks you leads you one way, and you find the other 5 all have completely different interests. And it's almost like they want to pick somebody else just to prove they're in charge. And I lost a listing that I knew the decedent, where the other listing agent didn't. I know what the original person who called me, the son, wanted. And I uniquely offered him some opportunities to do things that would have honored his late mother and would have done a great job on that property. But, like every seller, they all have their own issues. And so I just learned I'm not going to go in that position again. If you want to interview 5 agents, I tell them, then interview the other 4 and good luck. And if you have questions, call me. I'm here to help you. And I say that sincerely, no hard feelings, not as a comeuppance, not as arrogance, just thank you, but I don't want to spend my time doing that. And I'm allowed to make that choice. And if you want to check out my YouTube channel, if I can help you, I've had sellers call me back and say, hey, I saw your YouTube channel. I get you're different than the others. We want you to list the property. I've had that happen twice. So I don't want to be in a decision process with a multiple errors. I would never do that. I did it once, and it was just humiliating. I'll give you an example. The property was designed by a particular architect who went to school with a famous architect here at locally USC in Los Angeles. And I found a book of that architect's work that mentions that house. And initially the sense of we wanted to, respect the fact that this architect, and I was very involved with the alumni at my university where this guy was from. And I made contact with the architect school and said, I'd like to have a contest and invite students to come and present at the house. I had brokers open. I would do a twilight brokers open to kind of honor, this is what your mother wanted. Nobody had the connections at USC architecture or that book. I found it. It didn't matter at all. To be honest, I'm sure the commission was a 0.25% lower than mine. At the end of the day, that's why they picked that guy. And I got them a cash offer before they signed the listing for the exact same price they sold at. So I just learned my lesson. I don't want to participate in those contests like that. It's just not a place, not useful use of my time. for me.
Okay, no, I appreciate that.
I'm better than that. I'd rather work harder and be better than that than rely on that for my business. But that, you know, everybody's different. I'm not putting down that business. It just doesn't work for me. Okay. Michael, thanks. We kind of went a little bit long today. I'm sorry I went about 5 minutes late, so we'll jump off here. We do this call almost every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. We're going to skip, I think, August 23rd for another program. But basically, this is part of the Probate Mastery Real Estate Coaching Program. I'm Bill Gross. I'm at Bill Gross Probate on social media. And feel free to reach out if I can help answer questions of a particular case. Look forward to talking to you guys. Thank you so much and have a great week.